Good afternoon and welcome back to the Story Tree. Jesus was exhausted. It had been such a busy couple of days. With the raising of Lazarus from the dead, everybody wanted a piece of him. Everybody wanted to talk to him. Everybody wanted to get him to heal somebody or to look after somebody or to advise them about something. And he was finding it really hard to keep up with the need of the people of the area of Bethany. And so one evening he came to his friend's house, to Lazarus' house again, and to join them for a meal. And it was him and the disciples and Mary and Martha and Lazarus himself, and probably a lot of people hanging out outside as well. And as he sat there, he began to just relax and to stretch out his legs and to just really enjoy the safety and the fellowship of his friends and disciples. And then Mary comes in, and she's carrying in her hands an oil jar. And it's very expensive perfume. In fact, to buy that perfume would have taken a year's wages, something like 30,000 euros today, 40,000 maybe. And it was very expensive. And she breaks the oil jar and she cracks it over his feet and begins to massage his feet with this oil. And then she uses her hair to actually dry his feet. And as she starts to do this, because it's a Thanksgiving offering for her brother's life, as she starts to do this, tears start to fall down her face onto his feet, and she's drying and massaging his feet just as an appreciation for her brother being back. It was an incredible act of surrender, an incredible act of love. But not everybody was happy. Judas was sitting there. Judas wasn't happy for a lot of reasons. He was in charge of the finances, but the Bible suggests that maybe he was dipping his own hand into the funds whenever he needed some money. But whatever his reason, he got very angry. He said, surely this money could have been used for the poor. Surely this is a waste and extravagance. Why is she doing this? Why is this so important? And Jesus sits up and he looks at him and he says, she has done this to prepare for my funeral. She has done this to prepare for my burial, to anoint my body. What's being done here now will be spoken about for generations to come. And here we are, 2,000 years later, talking about Mary, talking about her doing this act of love and surrender. Judas still wasn't happy, and over the next couple of stories we're going to hear more about that. But for now, the excitement is beginning to build because everybody is preparing to go into Jerusalem for the Passover feast, and there's huge expectation. Jesus has just raised Lazarus from the dead. He has shown incredible power that can only come from God. And the people now have a new expectation. They have a new excitement. This is really maybe the Messiah who's going to rescue them from the Roman oppressors. Maybe he's going to start a revolution. Maybe he's going to start a war. And because he can raise people from the dead, he's going to do extraordinary things. And they're going to defeat their enemies. And so as he makes plans to go into Jerusalem, which is only probably about 2 miles from where he was staying, he instructs his disciples to go in to a certain house. He's obviously made arrangements in advance. He tells them to go to the house and to see a donkey and its young colt, its young offspring, sitting outside the house. And they're to untie it. They're not even to go into the house and ask for it. They're to untie it. And if anybody comes and asks for it, just tell them the master has need of it. And indeed, somebody does say, what are you doing? Why are you stealing my donkey? And the disciples say, the master has need of it. And this is a follower of Jesus. This is somebody who believes in Jesus and says, of course, if he needs it, bring it to him. We've seen what he can do. We have expectation of what he's going to do next. And so the people are building up in excitement. The road from Bethany to Jerusalem is thronged with people going up for the Passover. Anyway, and word is spreading like wildfire down through the ranks. Jesus is coming. The Messiah is coming. And people get really excited about this, and they start to take off their cloaks and they lay them on the ground before the donkey, and they start tearing branches off the trees nearby, and they throw them onto the ground so that there's almost like a carpet of clothing and branches in front of him as he makes his way to Jerusalem. It's actually a kingly entrance. The kings of old used to enter into the city on the donkey to show that they came in peace, not in war. They used to throw down their cloaks and the branches as a way of adulation for the king that was coming. So this sense of expectation and excitement is immense. the Jewish leaders are very frightened by this. They know that the Roman oppressors are just looking for an excuse to attack. And they come to Jesus and they say, tell your disciples, tell your followers to stop shouting like this. We're going to get into trouble. And Jesus utters one of the most remarkable lines of the Bible. It's one I remember the first time I heard it as a child because it just resonated in my head. He says, even if they were to stop, the very stones on the ground would start to sing. The very stones on the ground would start to sing. This is a moment in history. A moment when the people are shouting, Hosanna to the King of Kings, Hosanna to the Son of David. They're shouting praise to God. There's a sense of anticipation and real expectation. Whether that expectation is met will be seen in the next story. Thank you.